Welcome back to the Traders Network Show, broadcasting worldwide on equities.com. I'm your host, Matt Bird. We're here in Davos, Switzerland at the 2019 World Economic Forum, and my next guest is CEO of BurstIQ, Frank Ricotta. Frank, welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me. It's great to be back in Davos with you again.
This is our second year here.
It is.
And we've seen a lot of changes between 2018 and 2019. But the biggest change is what's been going on with BurstIQ.
Yeah, it's a banner year, absolutely.
And I think when you look at enterprise level blockchain and specifically healthcare, there are a few companies that could even measure up to what you guys have accomplished in the last year, I would say.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Of course, I'm a bit biased.
Of course you are. Well, let's read a few of these off. BurstIQ is the first to do a healthcare blockchain integration with any major pension fund. They're the first to do an EID solution. They're the first to do a blockchain government solution. They're the first to do a U.S. state-based blockchain data solution. They're the first blockchain company to partner with the UN Global Compact, and now the first to partner with the U.S. Trade Department.
Yeah,
to name a few.
Yeah, that's just scratching the surface of what happened in 2018 and definitely what's going to happen in 2019.
So let's talk about what you did in 2018 on the big data side, because that's what it's really about. And everything what we're hearing now is use case. Well, it needs to go back to enterprise and implementation before you could roll out the front end use case scenario. Talk to me about why you decided to go down the blockchain enterprise route versus going to the ICO route, which was what everybody else in your sector did.
Well, I think first and foremost, we wanted to solve real business problems. And I think healthcare is one of those industries that has really a data problem, a huge data problem, not just with legacy data, but with all this new data that's being generated from these precision health tests, such as genome and phenotype tests, health IoT, and of course, the hot topic du jour is artificial intelligence. But what was missing was a secure and open data platform where you own and control your data. Data is the currency of next generation health. Everybody wants to own it. More researchers need more of it, but yet you and I have a difficult time getting to it, let alone understanding it.
Not just that is that when it comes to health data, you have to look at any growing sector. The sector that's probably growing the most, the fastest, that is the healthcare sector. We're living longer, and healthcare costs keep going up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and and what we're seeing is we're not addressing the cost curve. It's becoming unsustainable. So you're really seeing this aspect of a perfect storm. Something to disrupt the market, something to change the whole conversation from sick care to health equity and access. We're at the World Economic Forum. It's really talking about empowering individuals and improving the quality of everybody's life.
Is there anything specifically you've seen here that's been surprising to you, or that you really...
Well, I think there's a stark comparison between last year and this year, particularly from the blockchain and the cryptocurrency side. Last year, cryptocurrency and the blockchain community, they were sort of the darling of the anti-Davos. You had this huge community, a lot of buzz, huge market valuations, massive increase of value. Happened with the bear market over the last year is that a lot of that buzz is gone. But what I find very encouraging, the conversations are a lot deeper and a lot more meaningful than they were last year, just centered around the buzz.
Well, it seems like you have a lot more legitimate organizations versus a lot of use case concepts. I think we had a lot of people who had the means to get here, who made a lot of money from Bitcoin, but as Bitcoin, slowly decreased in value, the real business models began to surface and rise up, and so
that's right.
High level engagements seem like it's the theme right now.
Yeah, and we moved away from cryptocurrencies to using the technology to create new and innovative solutions that solve real problems. Blockchain is going to solve a lot of humanitarian issues, going to solve a lot of issues in health in terms of driving costs down and access up.
Give me your top 3 sectors outside healthcare, of course. Give me your top 3 sectors that you're bullish on within blockchain.
Well, obviously fintech is a big space. That was the early mover on the technology. But I like a lot of government services. I love that space from the standpoint of property registration, from social services and access, and just government services in general. It truly empowers an individual and really supports, from a broader perspective, liberty. And and empowering and liberty of a person.
Do you see any issues with the integration of users actually controlling their own data? I mean, is it going to reach the point where they can actually populate open data fields? Are they going to go to that extent? Do you believe that the tokenization of work product will fuel that initiative?
Well, I think data is value, and data in itself is currency. That's going to drive a lot of change. But when you look at it from a person perspective, anything that requires you to type a lot of data in isn't going to fly. And we've seen, some very big companies approach building personal health records like Microsoft and even Google, and had a few false starts with it. So what I think you're going to see with blockchain is very similar to what happened in the internet bubble. The protocol is going to fade into the backbone, into the background, and it's going to enable a whole lot of services. You're not even going to know you're interacting with blockchain, but you're going to know I have access to my data. I can share my data with my doctor.
And listen, we've all sat in waiting rooms for hours upon hours, and just to get some blood tests, and from a healthcare standpoint, a lot of those redundant tests would be eliminated.
Yeah, and I think that's on the care side of life. But I think we got to play it forward. A lot of people think one of the killer applications of health is building this personal health record. And I think that's looking back. I think what's going to happen is we're at this precipice of really what we would call a health singularity, kind of this convergence of technology and access that's going to change the whole way we interact with our own personal health and with our care providers. So I think we're seeing the evolution of an industry in health delivery.
Yeah, I love that. Listen, and I also hear that you're going to be contributing to the network over the next couple of days.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Speaking of it,
I'm very excited about that, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about that too. You're going to be doing some in-depth interviews, from what I understand, on the blockchain side. So you're going to be our technical correspondent.
Some very heavy-duty thinkers. I think it's going to be exciting in terms of listening to these individuals, extremely smart, talk to us about how they see it unfolding.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Everybody, Frank Ricotta, CEO of BurstIQ. This is going to wrap up our day here at the World Economic Forum. We'll be back tomorrow with a whole lineup of guests, CEOs, fund managers, and heads of state. So make sure you tune in. We'll see you tomorrow.
Forum is brought to you by SALT, providing fintech solutions for digital assets. Visit them at saltlending.com. Special thanks to Russia House and rosscongress.org for hosting our show here in Davos in the World Economic Forum. And a special shout out to BurstIQ for their expert commentary in blockchain and technology. And thank you, 1-800 Public Relations, for all your PR and media support.